This is CHSR 97.9 FM here in Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada, and you're listening to Python's Paradise, your film and music show. And this is your host, Greg Gilbert, aka the Python Hyena. And you know what? I love it. I love interviewing people, amazing people, especially from cult films, But I love also showcasing Canadian talent, and I've had Lisa Langles on here. I've had Catherine Mary Stewart on here, and trying to get those Trailer Park Boys on here. But for people being 6 hours away, I don't understand why they don't respond, but maybe it's the weed, who knows. But I do have a wonderful Canadian talent here on the phone that reminds me of how prevalent the horror film industry was in Canada back in the day. I have on the phone with me the lovely, the beautiful, the talented Lesleh Donaldson. How you doing, Lesleh?
I'm great. Thank you for that wonderful introduction.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Wow, I looked through your credits. I haven't seen all these films, but I've seen some of them, and I was like, well, you were in a lot of horror movies, and especially in the early to mid 80s.
I was, yes. I did. I did 4 pretty much back to back.
Yes.
I did one when I was 15, when I was 16, when I was 17, and when I was 18. So it's kind of one a year.
Well, you know what? It's interesting because I was looking at your TV credits, and I know growing up, my brothers and I used to watch Littlest Hobo.
Oh, right. Yes. Yes, Littlest Hobo. Yeah.
A dog that just wouldn't go home.
Right, exactly. He just wanted to help people.
Oh, he did.
Helping people. Yes.
Yeah, I remember. That was a Canadian show, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't do a lot of research on that.
No, it was definitely a Canadian show, and it was kind of a going concern there for a while.
Wow. Well, listen, give us a little bit of your background.
Okay. Like how I started and all of that.
Sure.
Stuff. Okay. Well, I basically started modeling when I was about 9 years old. I went to International Top Models, which was a modeling school in Toronto, and I took their lessons, on how to pose and how to do facial expressions and all of that, and I loved it because, what little girl doesn't want to do stuff like that? So, I was good at it, and so they put me on their payroll, and they started sending me out on, shoots like newspaper shoots for clothing, and then I got into the Sears catalog, and then stuff like that. And then some runway shows because I was a kid. But then when I got a little older, I didn't grow very tall. I'm only 5'3", so I kind of, when I wasn't very, svelte, I was all kind of curvy. So that ended that career, and I started doing commercials. And so commercials, and then commercials led to auditioning for television, and then television led to feature films, and then and then I started doing theater. So it was kind of a progression like that, and and I loved every bit of it. I didn't actually, I think, officially say I was an actor to myself until I was in my 20s, and I went to theater school. Then I started taking it really seriously.
Oh.
But when you're a teenager, you're having fun. You're getting to get out of school and go do something fun, like shoot a commercial or do a scene in a movie or do some shooting for the Sears catalog. So it was all a lark to me in the beginning.
The Sears catalog. I remember we used to get those.
Oh yeah, and I remember very distinctly, doing a layout of the Sears catalog in underwear. I was probably about 11, and I had one of the boys in my class brought the book to school and started showing everybody. That was like really embarrassing, but it's part of the job, I guess.
So how soon after he started showing it, they tried to ask you out?
Yeah, well, he didn't ask me out, but I remember one of the teachers came out and saw him doing this, and he goes, "Yeah, Steve, but she's laughing all the way to the bank. What are you doing?"
That is true.
That is true, right? So, that's a very distinct memory I have of doing, underwear layouts.
Do you know where I'm located here in Fredericton, New Brunswick?
I don't, because I've never had the pleasure of going to New Brunswick. I've been to Nova Scotia,
Okay.
but I've never been to New Brunswick. And it's always something that I would love to do. I would love to just travel across Canada at some point. So where are you located?
We're in New Brunswick is just alongside Nova Scotia, and
Yeah.
there's
No, I
Fredericton.
know that.
There's
Yeah.
Fredericton, St. John. There's Moncton.
Moncton,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. Most of the people I've interviewed don't know where I am. There's been a few that surprisingly have. Like when I had
Huh.
Melanie Kinnaman on here, she knew where I was. So that was
Yeah, yeah. No, I know where it is in conjunction with the locale in the country, but I don't know exactly, where your city is or, where because I've never been there. So, I love Nova Scotia. So, and it's beautiful out east. So one of these days.
you must be familiar with the Trailer Park Boys, though.
Oh, I'm totally familiar with them. I have a friend down here who's obsessed with them. She can't get enough of them. But she just thinks they're hilarious. And they are.
Well, we had Hobo with a shotgun shot in Halifax, and that was pretty close. I remember getting
Oh, awesome.
yeah. Well, I remember there was a thing emailed to me about extras, and of course, I wasn't going to
Oh,
drive. That's 6 hours away from me, and I was like,
right.
yeah,
Nah. I don't blame you.
yeah. But looking through your credits, like 19, I think it was 1979. You were in a movie called Running. Now, I'd never
Yeah.
seen this film, but that was an early film for Michael Douglas.
Yes. It was actually, I want to say maybe 78. 78, 70, maybe come out in 79. No, it was, it's one of his, lesser known movies. He plays, kind of a divorced dad who's one of those guys that starts things and never finishes them. And so he's, takes on doing a marathon for the Olympics. And so he trains for it, and his wife, of course, doesn't believe he's going to, finish that. And, he's got two daughters, and I play the older one. And my character in that was basically, I was embarrassed by him. So it's hard to be embarrassed by Michael Douglas because he's Michael Douglas. But I had to be embarrassed by him as my dad. So, and then, obviously come around to the end because he does finish the marathon, but he finishes it like hours after it's over. So, that was my first feature. I think it was, actually.
I think it's the first one that's listed yet.
Yeah, working with Michael Douglas out of the Pike. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he would go on to, of course, win the Oscar for Wall Street, and look at
Exactly.
him now,
I know. He's fantastic, yeah.
So what was he like to work with?
He was awesome. I mean, he was very, very generous, wonderful man. He very giving, very funny. He kept to himself a lot between takes because, it was kind of a heavy role for him. And but he was amazing. He just was amazing. I mean, and incredibly good looking. He was like the Brad Pitt, of his day.
Yeah.
And he was just really, really, really wonderful guy.
It's all.
He came up.
Yeah.
From a showbiz family, he wasn't affected. There was no affectations about him. He just, he was just part of the biz, and he knew the biz because he grew up in it, and he was just really, 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 really giving and wonderful.
Well, I also noticed on the credits for that Eugene Levy, of course, a little pre-Jim's Dad American Pie role for him.
Yes, exactly. Yes, Deborah Burgess, Susan Onspach was in it as well. She played the mom. And there was a lot of big Canadian actors in that. Gordon Clapp, I think Michael Shimada was in that too. So there was a lot of big people in it. Yeah.
Did Eugene Levy still have the thick eyebrows and the glasses?
Yep. He did. Yeah, he did. That's his signature trademark, isn't it?
And he carries it well. Like he's done well
He
for
does.
himself. Yes.
Yeah, he has definitely.
I was at my brother's place the other night, and he and his girlfriend were watching that new show of his
Schitt's Creek. Or
yeah,
something,
I think
or
that's what it's called.
Creek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
he and
I heard of it.
Catherine O'Hara still working well together.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that it's funny when you work with people for so long, in this business, and maybe you don't see each other for a while. When you get back together again, you don't ever lose that rapport that you have or you've had with them before. It's still there. It never goes away. I just saw Lisa Langlois back in October, November, and I hadn't seen her in over 30 years. And it was just like we were hanging out, we've always been hanging out. So it just never goes away.
Yes. Is it Lisa Langlois or Langles?
Yes.
I always called her
No,
Langles.
it's Langlois. She says Langlois.
Oh.
But it's French Langlois, so the second L isn't pronounced.
Oh, man, I've been pronouncing the name wrong.
That's okay. Listen, we're used to it because I always get Lesleh or Leslie. Nobody knows how to pronounce my name.
Yeah.
It's like I just let it go. I'm like, yeah, that's my name.
Well, she never corrected me, and I talked to her for 2 hours on here. So.
Oh, she probably didn't even notice.
Yeah.
Probably. Or she just, like I said, didn't care, or just didn't think to, maybe she wanted to embarrass you.
No. Well, I don't speak any French, so.
I don't either, and I'm ashamed because Canadians have to now.
Yeah, well.
I mean, it's a requirement, I think.
Oh, gee, well, I'm done in then.
Yeah, I know. Well, because I think in school you have to, in high school, when I was in high school, I didn't have to take, French wasn't mandatory. Now it's mandatory, I think. You have to be able to learn to speak both, English and French. And so, I just say mal français, très mal, it's like very bad French. But I feel like a bad Canadian because I don't know how to.
Well, guess what? I'm a worse Canadian. I don't know how to either.
Yeah, I can get away with it because I'm in the States.
Yeah.
You, not so much.
Oh, well. Well, after you did running, I think your first horror film was a film. I have not seen this film, but I checked the trailer out last night called Funeral Home.
Yes, that was it. That was my very first, and I think I got it on the merit of running, actually. So, Bill Fruitt, amazing director. Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed in the credits, Harvey Atkins is in the credits now. Mm-hmm. He was in Meatballs the year before now. I had Christine DeBelle on here last year from she was AL in Meatballs. Actually, that is right now the one interview I got through Twitter, because Twitter's hard to get interviews with 140 characters.
Oh, right, yes. Yeah, I can imagine. I'm still like a dope when it comes to things like Twitter and Instagram. I mean, it's, I show my age. I can't do that. My kids are like, Mom, it's like this. It's really easy. So I don't know anything about that.
Well, I interviewed Christine DeBelle on here, and of course she worked with Harvey Atkins in Meatballs, where he kept waking up in these various places around camp, and he's in Funeral Home now. What was he like?
Yes, he's great. He's hilarious. He was the life of the set pretty much when he was on. He and Peggy Mann, they played the floozy kind of drunken couple that comes to the house and stays there. And of course, the grandmother, my grandmother in it, disapproves of them and their behavior. So they meet a rather unsavory end. But he was great. He was really, really, again, I've been very fortunate to work with a lot of people that have just been incredibly awesome to work with. And I feel very blessed. I mean, I don't have really many people that I've had experiences with that have been negative.
Well, what was your role like in Funeral Home, since I haven't seen the film, so...
Yeah, well, I liken, Funeral Home is kind of a modern retelling of the Little Red Riding Hood.
Okay.
It's Psycho. So it's not your classic horror movie where it's not like really slasher and dasher kind of stuff. It's more kind of maybe film noirish in a way. It's a little tale about the girl going to her grandmother's to help grandma turn the funeral home into a bed and breakfast. And people start disappearing. And, I'm the sort of the wide-eyed, innocent, investigative granddaughter trying to figure out what's going on. Why are they missing? What's happening to these people? And so, lo and behold, to give away the ending, I'm sorry, but I don't have to.
It's up to you. I'll probably still watch it. Sure, why not?
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to watch, but I mean, lo and behold, the big bad wolf is actually Grandma. So, I mean, she's hearing voices in the basement, and there's a lot of that sort of Norman Bates thing going on, and it's cool. It's very cool. Bill Fruitt's wife, she wrote it.
It's interesting you mentioned Psycho, because I started reviewing movies in 1996, and Psycho
Oh yeah.
was my first midnight movie experience.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a
No,
great one.
no, it is a
Yeah.
great one. Yep. But
Yeah. So
yeah,
yeah.
Funeral Home. I'll have to check that out. I think I might have read something about that. It was on Wikipedia because I was reading about these on Wikipedia so I could get a
Uh-huh.
little bit of a background.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it would be on Wikipedia only because William Fruitt, who directed it, is kind of a big deal in Canada. He's sort of the, I would say, the Wes Craven, John Carpenter of the Canadian horror genre, cinema. He and Cronenberg kind of were the, you know, the front runners of that genre in Canada. And he's also the co-writer of Going Down the Road, which is a Canadian institution, a film that's like pure Canadiana. So, so he's sort of a big deal. So I think, and I didn't know that at the time, which is probably a good thing because I say this all the time. People are like, well, he works with J. Lee Thompson and he did Cape Fear and everything and Guns of Navarone. He did all these big movies in the 60s. So I was like, he did what? I had no clue at the time because I was just this, young actress just wanting to work. So, I didn't really do my research back then in terms of who people were. And it was, like I say, probably a good thing because I could get pretty starstruck. So I didn't know until later. Which is kind of a funny story, I guess.
Well, after that, you did a film I have seen called Happy Birthday to Me. And as I've
Right.
mentioned, I'm going to try to get her name right here, Lisa Langlois.
Langlois.
Langlois, oh man. I've been a fan of hers for over 30 years. I saw her in Class of 1984, way back in the early 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done about 3 interviews circled around that film, and when I had her on here, I was like, man, like it was amazing because I always liked her.
Yeah, she's awesome, and she looks the same. The girl doesn't age.
You know what? I still think she's gorgeous.
She's stunning. Oh, she's stunning, and in person, even more so. I mean, she's really, she's incredibly talented actress and really, really a beautiful person as well as a beautiful looking person. So she's got the whole package.
Well, I have her on Facebook, and I got the list of like all my interviewees on my calendar. Right. I went and checked out when their birthdays were, and I put it on my calendar so I could send birthday wishes out.
Oh, nice.
And on her birthday, I sent her a message because something stood out to me, because when I do my live show, I always talk about films based on when they came out.
Right.
And I don't want to give away her age or anything, that's all. I'll try not to do that. But I sent her a private message, and I said to her, I said, happy birthday, Lisa. I said, I have some film trivia for you. I said, on March 29th, and then the year she was born, Billy Wilder released his awesome comedy, Some Like It Hot, starring Marilyn Monroe. And I said, that was 14 days after you were born.
Wow.
And I said, but personally, I think you're prettier than Marilyn.
Well, she always used to get kind of likened to her.
Well, you know what?
When she was younger.
She's 4 hours behind me. Like,
Yes.
you're an hour behind me. She's 4 hours behind me. When I woke up the next day and I looked at my phone before I headed out to work, there was a message from her on there, and she says, "You are so kind." He says, "I have some film trivia for you." She said, "When I auditioned for John Huston, he told the casting director, she reminds me of a young Marilyn."
Yes, she's been told that. Yes, that's right. She told me that. I remember her telling me that story.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was very much like a young Marilyn.
And then, she told me that, she's still got to send me an autograph, and
awesome.
So, yeah. I've always liked Lisa, like Class of 1984, like with the pink hair and whatnot, and every time I play Teenage Head on here, I think of that film.
Yes, I know. Yeah. No, she's an amazing person. I love her to bits.
Well, I'm going to
Love her
tell
to bits.
you, I got more reason to love her now because I remember I just told you that I I, along with another person here at the station, are trying to help with suicide prevention
Right.
with
Right.
after the passing of Robin Williams, and I
Yes.
know they've been trying to get the industry to take this seriously, and
Yes.
it was about taking a pie in the face and nominating
Right.
3 people. And I nominated Lisa, and I
Right.
thought this would be a great thing for her to do for our world today.
Yes.
And I was so happy yesterday. I saw a message saying that she had shared my YouTube video.
Oh, awesome.
And then there was a message saying that she would do it. And I like how she worded this. She said that suicide and depression are the last taboos in society.
Yes.
And
Yes.
she said that's like being a paraplegic. I'm sorry, I'm getting that word wrong.
Right.
And in your
A
head,
paralyzed. Yes. Yes.
and being
Paralyzed.
expected to dance.
Yes. She's right. She's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm so happy that she's accepted. She said she would do it. And I'm like,
That's
wow, that is great.
great.
And
It is. Yeah.
I sent that out to her and I think one of the other Canadian actresses. And then I drew a couple names out of a hat from my other interviewees.
Okay. Cool.
Now, had I had interviewed you at the time, you would have automatically been picked, being Canadian.
Well, you can still pick me. I've been picked to do that for the veterans. The 22 veterans kill themselves. Which I think, I don't know if it's every day or whatever, but it's a pretty high number and pretty dire. And so I was nominated by a friend of mine to do 22 push-ups. So I still have to do that. So to take a pie in the face, easy peasy.
Well, I'm going to tell you what. I will challenge you here right now. Take a pie in the face, and
Okay.
you can put it towards whatever suicide, depression,
Right.
whatever. Nominate 3 people, and if I may, try to include at least one person from the industry that you know that will do it, because we want to try to get them.
I'm gonna nominate 3 people from the damn industry that I know will do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is a serious thing, you know. Suicide is taken far too many people,
It has.
and unnecessarily so. You know, it's just not. It's not an answer to anything because it's always. You never know what's around the corner. You never know what tomorrow may bring, and I'd totally do it. Absolutely.
Well, Lisa put it right. She said, it's an illness that's often
Yeah.
perceived as a weakness, and she's right.
She's totally right. It is an illness that's often perceived as a weakness, and you'd be surprised how many actors suffer from it. I mean, I think we all.
Yes.
I mean, I know I suffer from depression, and so I know that it's a real heavy duty, situation, disease to have.
Well, you want me to tell you
but a lot of
something?
actors-
I'm not suicidal,
No, yeah,
but when I get hit with depression,
yeah,
it's like I don't want to get up in the morning. Now I'm
Oh,
fine
yeah,
right
well-
now, yeah,
yeah,
but it will hit me. I know it hit me in '99, and it hit me
Yeah.
again in 2006.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. Yeah, it's terrible. I've been hit a few times myself, and you don't want to get out of bed. You just don't. You don't want to do anything. Nothing seems worth it.
exactly.
I have 2 amazing boys, 14 and 11. So, I have no matter how bad it gets, I have those 2 guys to think of. So, but that doesn't stop a lot of people. They still go through with it, even if they do have children. It's really debilitating.
Well, I recommend though, if you get a chance, watch my video. And like I
will.
said, I can't wait to see Lisa's video. I'm
Well, I would love for her to throw one at me, and I could throw one at her. That would be fun.
Oh, you don't throw them. You gotta mush it in their face. If you throw them, you could miss.
You gotta mush it. Oh, okay. I would totally do that with her. That would be so much fun.
Well,
It's
why
cathartic.
not?
But I was just talking to her today, actually, before I spoke to you,
Yeah.
and we were having a long conversation, and yeah, I didn't know this. So now I know when I go back to talking to her later, I'm gonna tell her we both have to mush pies in each other's face. So when are we gonna do this? We got to do it soon.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
yeah.
when you're talking to her, tell her thank you from me, and
Oh, I
and
totally
and
will.
tell her that being a longtime fan, it means a lot to me that she would accept.
Oh, absolutely. I totally will. I definitely will.
Now, how did you come to meet her?
I met her on the set of Happy Birthday to Me, and she was just one of those incredibly down to earth, warm, and lovely people. Like she just, I was the youngest one on the set, so I still had to have. I was like 16, I think, when I shot that, and so I had to have my grandmother chaperone me. And I always felt, because they were much older. They were like, Lisa was like I guess about 20 or something, and Lenore was a little bit older. I mean, the oldest one was maybe David Eisner or something at 24. So, so I always had to have my grandmother. I always felt kind of like left out because they were older and I was so much younger. And it was really just Tracy Bregman, who was a year older than me, and Lisa that kind of, brought me into the fold more, so of that group of people. I mean, they were all great. They were all really sweet. But, like when you're the youngest, you kind of feel like, they don't want you to play with them. So then I was at my grandmother there. So Lisa always makes jokes in interviews and says, Lesleh had her grandmother was there. She was the chaperone, and she was always trying to ditch her grandmother.
And you got that big opening scene in it.
Right, exactly. So, so Lisa was just, she was just very, very, friendly and supportive and fun to be around. And I remember we went to breakfast one day. I don't know if we were shooting that day. I think we had a day off, or we were getting ready to leave or something. I don't know. My grandmother, myself, and Lisa all went to breakfast, and it was just, it was awesome.
Yeah.
She was just awesome. Yeah.
Well, I remember
and then we worked together again on Deadly Eyes.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. Yep, Deadly Eyes. Yep. But I remember when she responded to the YouTube video, she said, "Just tell me where and when." And I'm like, "Well, I'm way too far away to do it here." But
exactly.
But
I'm way too far away from her too. But we can try to make that work.
Oh, that would be great.
That would be great.
And that would, huh?
I'm always threatening to go back to LA. I love it out there, and she lives in Santa Monica, and I just. One of my favorite places on the planet is Santa Monica. It's just such a beautiful place, and she's right near the beach. So I have every excuse to get back out there again. And this is a topper.
Oh yeah, well, it's for a great cause, and I'm so glad that she understands.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad she didn't write that off, because it's so easy for, especially people in the industry. It's like a struggle to get people's attention.
Oh yeah, no, it is a struggle, totally. Even somebody in the industry, myself, trying to, because I've moved into writing and producing now, and so I'm trying to get a couple of things, out there, and even just trying to do that in the industry is, even having had experience is a test of endurance. It really is.
Yes. Well, like I said, when you're talking to Lisa, you send her my best and tell her thank you so much.
I will.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I will always be a fan.
Yes. Same here.
Yes. But you had some other interesting people in that movie. Melissa Sue Anderson.
Yes. Yes, she was awesome. Yes.
Yeah. What was she like to work with?
Again, very sweet, very professional. I mean, she came off of doing Little House on the Prairie, so she was quite accomplished, and she was a big star, and along with Glenn Ford. So she was great. I think, she's a bit of a method actress. So I think what she was doing, she kind of sort of stayed away from everyone because her character sort of was the outsider.
Yep.
In this group, she was trying to get back into the group, so she sort of played that up, even sort of, off the screen. She was sort of very much to herself. Whereas the rest of the big guys and gals, we'd all congregate in a green room or something and hang out.
Yeah, Matt Craven.
Yeah, Matt Craven, again, really fabulous guy. Jack Bloom. I mean, all of them. They were so much fun to be with, and that's like one of my favorite movies that I had a chance to work on, because it was with people, roughly my own age. And, it was just fun to hang out with, your peers. And we were all peers. We all knew each other outside of that. Not all of us, but most of us knew each other outside of that movie from having auditioned with each other. So I knew David Eisner because we were both with the same agency, and Jack and Matt knew each other from Meatballs. And I knew Lenore and Lisa from auditioning with them for things and just sort of, mingling in the industry. It was a really cool time to be an actor in Canada back then.
When Hobo with a Shotgun was shot here, I was really hoping for the Canadian film industry to get back in the fit of things, because back when I looked at your credits, and I thought of Lisa at the same time about this, because you both did a lot of Canadian films, and you did a lot of Canadian horror films, and it made me think of Black Christmas, which was shot here.
Yes, and Lynn Griffin, who is another friend who I worked with on Curtains. She's, it was can exploitation time. It was like big tax write-off. So, and the only movies they were really making in Canada at that time were horror movies and those, comedies like Meatballs and Porky's and Animal House and stuff like that.
Animal House was shot here?
No, I don't know if Animal House was, but I was just using that as an example of, the type of movies that they were making in Canada. They're making all the comedies, like the college comedy type.
I know Meatballs was shot here, and of course Class of 1984, that was shot here.
Yes, and I want to say Porky's was shot there too.
Yes, Porky's.
I think it was, yeah. John Vernon was in Animal House, I think. So I don't know if it was shot there. I have a feeling it wasn't. But, it was like, so those were the two types of movies. And I always wanted to be in the Meatballs and the Porky's type movies, but I got cast in the horror movies. So, which was fine. Actually, they're called, who knew back then? None of us knew that they were going to be cult classics and cult favorites, and people were going to be talking about them in the 2016.
I think
Lisa. Nobody's going to see these. Nobody's going to see these. Just use it as an experience and take the paycheck and just and move on. And then there's 20, 30 years later, people are like, you were in February to Me, you were in Curtains. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, oh my God, it's my favorite movie. So it floors me, and I feel privileged.
I found interesting when I interviewed Lisa. I if I recall correctly, I think she said she auditioned for Meatballs, and I'm like, wow, if she and Christine DeBelle were in that same movie.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, right.
Two lovely women.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Cindy Gerling and Sarah Targoff and all those people. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Bill Murray's first feature.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And then you went on to do Deadly Eyes. Now, dressing up poor dogs.
I did Curtains before Deadly Eyes.
Oh, you want? Okay, let's talk about Curtains first. I think Curtains was released after, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was fraught with peril, to say the least. The filming. I think I filmed Deadly Eyes right after I filmed Curtains. The Curtains was kind of a long shoot, because it stopped and then it started and then it stopped, and so we never thought it was going to get finished. We thought that it was just going to quietly disappear.
Well, you know something, I haven't seen Curtains, but last night I was at my brother's apartment, and I found a clip. I had to watch it, and I liked it. The clip of you when you get offed, but you were out on the ice.
Yes.
Now, I know you had an accident during that scene, didn't you?
I did have an accident, yes.
That was on Wikipedia.
Well, I had trained to, I know I can skate, but I'm not a figure skater, so I can't do jumps and twirls and things like that very well. So, but I trained. I had, a couple of trainers, and I would have to get up, like they do, these skaters do it really early in the morning in order to get rink time. And I would go and practice a routine at like 5 in the morning in these arenas on the smooth Zamboni ice, and then, I get on the set finally, and it's a pond. Now, ponds are bumpy.
Yeah.
They don't have smooth ice. Even if you notice in the scene, the actual double for me, who is a figure skater, wasn't doing some really, amazing flourishes. She kind of didn't do a lot of up in the air twirls. She sort of did a little twirls and stuff because she even was scared of the ice.
Yeah.
So the first thing happened to me is I got out in my costume, into my skates, and I start gliding out onto the ice. I trip over a bump and I hit my chin. I fall
Oh,
chin first onto the ice, and I'm right behind the producer Peter Simpson and the line producer Jerry Arbide. Who hit it, and they both stop and turn and look back. And Jerry turns to Peter. He goes, "Didn't we pay for her training?" I was like, "Yeah, you did, but you did it. We paid for it in an arena, not on a pond."
yes, that's true.
It's like, oh boy, the last people you want to fall and do that in front of is those two. But they laughed it off, and they were just like, "You're a klutz, Donaldson. You're a klutz." Yeah, I am.
I thought it was a very well done scene. You find that doll laying in there,
Yeah,
buried in the snow, the hand out there, and you
yeah.
have that big chase in the woods. Actually, it's been compared. That chase in the woods was compared to the scene with Robbie Morgan in Friday
Huh.
the 13th, where she jumps out of the Jeep
Oh
and she
yes,
gets her
yeah,
throat slashed against the tree.
yeah, yeah. I think they probably did similar. They had a similar idea, probably from that maybe. Yeah,
Yeah, that
only on the ice. Yeah,
Yeah, but I thought it was a well done scene. I'm like, gee, I might have to see this whole movie. But I wanted
right.
to get a little sense of what you were doing in the movie, so I found
Okay,
that clip, and I figured if I'm going to talk to you, I should at least get something from this. And I really
right.
enjoyed that scene.
Yeah, I mean, I've been told that that's kind of one of the in the horror genre, this genre. It's one of I don't want to use the word iconic because it can get thrown around very easily a lot of times, but it's up there with some of the other iconic scenes in horror movies. So I feel very flattered about that. So yeah, and I think it's because it is in the ice rink and skater and it's in the daylight. I think that was a big nobody'd ever really done that before.
And I know there was a picture out there of back then special effects were very very practical, and
Yeah,
there's a
no
picture.
CGI.
Yeah, a picture of your head in the toilet, and it showed
Yeah.
how they did that.
Yeah, I had to actually lie in a makeshift toilet. So I can say, yeah, my head's been in a toilet. It has. It really has.
Oh boy!
It's been on a platter and it's been in a toilet.
Oh wow!
I know, right? Yeah, that was interesting because now they probably just would, I don't know, CGI it or something. I don't know how they would do it now, but yeah, and it's the same when we get to Deadly Eyes, how they did the rats, running through the tunnels. They actually put Dachshunds in rat suits.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I mean, it's like, otherwise now they would CGI it. So, but back then they had to be creative with their special effects. So, that's how are we going to get her head in the toilet? Well, we'll just build a toilet and have her lie back down in it.
Did you have problems with that?
Actually, I didn't even think twice about it. I thought, this is my job. This is what I have to do. My head ends up in the toilet. I mean, it'll be something to joke about years from now, and surely enough, that's what I'm doing.
That's what we're doing now, huh?
Exactly, right?
Well,
So,
look, if you've seen The Big Lebowski, Jeff Bridges has done it,
Oh, yeah. No, he's had his head actually in a toilet, like, drowning. They're trying to, that's one of my favorite movies.
I
I'm glad
love
that you
that
mentioned
film. I
Yeah.
love that film, The
Oh,
Big
so do I.
Lebowski. Yeah.
I just love him. He's incredible in it. And so is John Goodman.
You know what's
Yeah, great
interesting?
movie.
I just had Ted White on here, who played
Uh-huh.
Jason in Friday the 13th, the final chapter. And
Right.
and he was telling me that he worked with Jeff Bridges in 4 films, and he said he's one
Oh.
of the nicest people you could ever
Oh,
meet.
I believe it. Yeah, I totally believe it.
But yeah, I love that. There he goes. The guy goes, "Where's the money, Lebowski?" He goes, "I'm sure it's down there somewhere. Let me take another look."
I know, it's great. There are too many great lines to quote from that movie.
Oh,
There really are.
yeah,
Yeah.
that is a great movie. And that's one of those movies. Like I saw it when it came out in theaters, but look where it
Yeah.
is now.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine junk like Armageddon topped the box office that year?
Oh, I know. No, well, I can believe it because that's just, that's the junk that, it's still happening. It's like all of the junky movies are getting the big, money in, and the real gems are, the ones that, like the Big Lebowski and those kind of movies.
Well, last year, Paul Gross made a movie called Hyena Road, which was a
Uh-huh.
Canadian war film, and it didn't even get distribution in the States.
Oh, Jesus, wow.
And it
Yeah.
was better
That's,
than American Sniper.
yeah. Oh, wow. See, I didn't know that because I'm down here, so I don't even get to. They don't really know what's going on up there down here. They don't. And it was something that actually Justin Trudeau talked about. He said, America just needs to make itself more aware of what's going on in the rest of the world.
Well,
And
it's
it's
interesting
not.
because there's a petition on Facebook to get NBC to help get the Trailer Park Boys to host Saturday Night Live. Can you
Oh,
imagine?
they totally should. I don't know why that's a no-brainer.
Because Ivan
Because my
Reitman
friend
produced the first
Teresa,
film, yeah.
yeah, I mean, my friend Teresa, she's American. She's from Virginia. I mean, she can't get enough of it. She's constantly watching on Netflix. She streams it with her son. I mean, they think it's hilarious.
They should get
So there are fans.
you and Lisa gotta get on the Trailer Park Boys.
Oh, I'd love to do that. Are you kidding me? I'm writing something for Lisa and I right now. It's actually based on a road trip we took with her son and his friend to Las Vegas.
Oh yeah?
It's called Maybe They Don't Like You, and I mean it's sort of a Thelma and Louise meets The Hangover. So and it's based on certain actual events that happened. But it's she's hilarious. She's like the most fun person. I'm going back to Lisa again. She's the most fun person to be around. But she's yeah. So I would love to be on the Trailer Park Boys. Are you kidding me?
Wow. Yeah, that
Yeah.
would be. Well, they just had Snoop Dogg on there, so maybe.
Well, tell them, put it out there. Put Lesleh and Lisa on the Trailer Park Boys. We could do a Scream Queen thing.
There you go.
There you go, right?
Well, on Curtains, I know you worked with John Vernon. Of course, speaking of Animal House, he was Dean Wormer.
Yes, he was.
So tell me, did he put you on double secret probation?
No, he didn't. I'm sure he wanted to.
Did you get a
I had to sleep with him in the movie.
Huh?
I had to sleep with him in the movie.
Did he
I
give?
mean, back then you didn't see anything. Today you'd see everything, but back then it was all very tastefully done. So it was sort of the aftermath that you saw.
Did he give you a 0.0?
I don't know.
I'm quoting Animal House now.
I know you are. I saw that a long time ago, so I figured that's what you were doing.
Oh yeah, just before Flounder threw up on the desk.
Right. Yeah.
John
I-
Belushi. John Belushi standing there with two pencils up his nose. A 0.0
Right.
didn't bother him.
Right. I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen that movie in years, and I think I only saw it once.
Well, you also worked with Samantha Eggar on that film. I mean, she did this just after she did The Brood.
Yes, that's right. She did. Yep. Lovely lady, very elegant, good actress, a wonderful person. Yeah.
Yeah, I've tried to reach out to her on her webpage for an interview. She hasn't got back to me, but I saw The Brood recently, and I was like, I just grew this whole new appreciation for her because the Criterion edition of that movie was really, really well done.
Right. Yeah, that was Cronenberg.
You know what? Sad, because Cronenberg's last, I don't know, half a dozen films have not been widely released. Like, it's so disrespectful.
No, it is. Yeah. I mean, it's hard. There's a hard business because, I mean, if your movie, you get one movie that does fantastic, the same thing could happen to M. Night. I can never pronounce his name right.
Shyamalan.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Shyamalan. I mean, it's like you get one movie that's fantastic, and then you do a few movies that maybe aren't up to the audience par, whatever that is, and the disrespect comes rolling out. It's really amazing to me. It shouldn't take away from your original talent.
No.
Just because you make a couple of movies that displeases you. I've always liked M. Night's movies.
I
always like him.
Yeah, well, you know what? Unbreakable is underrated.
Yeah, I think it's underrated, and I thought The Village was clever.
Same here.
And the same with the one with the the Whispering Wind. I forget what that was. Joaquin Phoenix. Well, I watched Joaquin Phoenix read the phone book. So
Signs. Yeah, I liked it too.
Signs was great too, and also the one with the Whispering. Oh, maybe that was Mark Wahlberg.
We're on different on that one.
Oh yeah, okay. But then there's the one with the lady in the water or something. I thought that was cute and clever too. I mean, he sort of does fairy tales.
He
It gives them
does.
a kind of scary twist, and I think that's very clever.
Yes.
You know, and then this opens up the dialogue there's a lot of this dialogue going on right now as to what is a characteristic of a horror movie now. It's really changing. It's not the slashers anymore. I mean, there still are slashers. It's not just ghost stories. I mean, people have different ideas of what a horror movie what the parameters of a horror movie are. And yet movies like The Babadook and I guess The Witch, I haven't seen it yet.
The Witch isn't
are
even
changing.
here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're changing sort of what is a horror movie, what constitutes a horror movie. Because to me, The Babadook was a horror movie. Being a mother, watching, a mother's descent into madness in that movie was pretty terrifying.
Yeah,
So there's different types of horror movies. They don't just fall under certain categories like they used to.
Yeah, we didn't get The Witch here, and I'm really disappointed we haven't got Everybody
Oh.
Wants Some here, too, the new Richard Linklater film.
Well, really, you didn't get The Witch? I thought that was like the big, lots of talk about that one.
Yeah, well,
You didn't get it?
no.
Weird.
Well, my first interview here was with Tommy Wiseau back last April.
Oh, Tommy was The Room.
The Room. We had him on the phone, and
Oh, my God.
we didn't get the riff tracks up there at the mall. And I launched a complaint about.
Hello. Hello.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi. Oh, hi. Oh, hi, doggy. Did he do all that on purpose? I really have to know.
I don't
He's a
think
genius comedian.
I don't think he did. You know what they're doing? They're doing a movie this year called The Disaster Artist. That's
Okay.
based
Are you
on
getting him to be it?
well, Greg Sestero, who played Mark in the movie,
Right.
wrote the book, and it's based on his first encounters with Tommy and the making of that film.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
And you know who's
that movie is just.
who's going to play Tommy?
Who?
James Franco.
Ooh, good choice.
James
Very good
Franco is
choice.
going to play Tommy. Yeah,
Very good choice.
I'll have to let you hear my Tommy Wiseau interview. That was
Oh, please do.
with my ex.
Hi, doggy. Oh, hi, flowers.
Yeah.
I used to have a couple of friends that I used to just, on Facebook, make fun of that movie on a daily basis.
You're tearing me apart, Lisa. Not quite the same as James Dean.
Really? I know. Oh, my God. There's other classics as well from that. I think I blocked it out.
Oh, wow.
I had a friend who did the live version of that with him, and I actually saw it. He did a live stage version of that movie.
I didn't know there was a live stage version.
There was. He was on about trying to get it to Broadway, and I'm like, dude, you're never going to get this to Broadway, but good try. But it was just like, it was even worse than the movie, if you can imagine.
Well,
It was a car wreck.
when we interviewed him,
Right.
I remember my program director was in the other room, and I could see through the glass at him. And when we were interviewing him, I just saw my program director just slowly move his head and look in our direction with us. Who the heck are you guys talking to? Look on his face.
Right. Oh, God. Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's a piece of work that shouldn't be, and it's just a nasty piece of work. I don't know. There's no words. I go speechless with The Room.
yeah, it after that interview, I just wanted to know who else could I talk to because it was so amazing. And I remember two people. My ex co-host wanted to talk to musicians. Me, I wanted to talk to women that I found attractive growing up.
Right.
And I remember one person I reached out to was Adrienne King from Friday the 13th, and I was so
Oh, yeah.
thrilled she got right back to me.
Yeah, she's very sweet. I've met her. She's a lovely lady too. Yeah.
Yeah, I still keep in touch with her, but when I sent the Facebook message to her, when she got back to me, I just kind of leaned back in my chair and I was like, she said yes.
Yeah.
And the other person I wanted to reach out to, of course, as you know, was Lisa Lang-Laws.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she took maybe a month later,
Right.
but Lisa got back to me. And, of course, I always liked her in class of 1984. So
Yeah.
once I had Adrienne and I had Lisa on the phone, I was like, man, I feel like I can do anything.
Yeah. There you go.
And I've had several of these interviews, and I'm like, it's fun. because I have people that's said to me that they've either been reintroduced to a film
Hmm.
or checked it out for the first time. And I know Class of 1984 got some feedback from me because I've heard.
Right.
Yeah, I think it was Lisa's manager had told me that she had gotten a lot of mail based on that film, and he wonders if it's because of my interview. Now, I would never take credit for that. I think
Well, you never know. I mean, if you were reintroducing new viewers and younger viewers to those movies, it's a fantastic thing.
Lisa's talented enough, just like yourself. You're talented enough. You don't need
Thank
my
you.
help.
Well,
But it's nice to
hey,
do it.
every bit of help is always good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But getting back,
We're,
yeah, but getting back to Deadly Eyes, we haven't talked much about that. Now, I find
Right.
it funny when I found out about the Dutch Hound situation. Now, that is actually kind of almost makes it comical.
It is totally comical. I mean, I hadn't seen them until I think it was the movie theater scene, and I was like, I got to get in that theater and see for myself what this looks like.
Well, when I interviewed Lisa, the only movie of hers I had seen at that point was Class of 1984. I have since checked her out in some other films, so I got the chance to see Deadly Eyes, and
Right.
she, of course, worked with Joe Kell in Class of '84.
Yep. She did, and I worked with Joe Kelly in a movie called Special People, which was about the famous people players.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, it's a television movie about Diane Dupuis, and the famous people players in Canada. They're a mentally handicapped group of puppeteers,
Okay.
and they were discovered by Liberace, and they used to do, puppeteering of famous people in blacklight.
Okay.
And Diane Dupuis was the founder, and she was played by Brooke Adams.
I love Brooke Adams.
I know, she's awesome. She's an amazing person.
She was in Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yep. And so she, so I was cast as one of the handicap players, and so was Joe Kelly, Isabel Mejias, and Ron James, and the rest of the puppeteers, the actual puppeteers, were the rest of the troupe. So, it was directed by Mark Daniels, who was best known for all the I Love Lucy shows that he used to direct, and it was a great. It was for CBS TV, the made-for-TV movie. And it was, very well received. So, and that's how I met Joe Kelly.
Wow.
So I had known him before doing Deadly Eyes from doing that.
Tell me,
it was great.
You mentioned Brooke Adams. I know in Invasion of the Body Snatchers, there was something that I remember her for so well. And I guess the director, Philip Kaufman, said he knew she could do this and got her to do it on film. That thing where she twirls her eyes around in circles, did she do that?
Oh, boy, I think I would have remembered that. And I hung out with her a few times, so I'm not it's possible. Maybe I blocked it down because it was so disturbing. I don't know.
Oh, she does that in Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and the only reason it was shot is because the director found out she could do it, and he had to get it on camera.
Wow. That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Huh. These little things that you learn.
Well, that was in the commentary track of the movie, and I was like, wow.
Right.
But
Cool.
Deadly Eyes had Scatman's Crothers in it after he did The Shining.
Yes, it did.
Did you work any with him? I know you weren't in any scenes with him.
No, but I think I was on the set one day when he was doing something. I think it was the tunnel scene that he did in that movie. I think I feel like I was there that day.
Okay.
So I'm sure I met him briefly. It's sort of one of those things like with Hearts of Fire too. Like I never had any scenes with Bob Dylan, but I know that he was on the set one day.
Oh yeah.
And I kind of briefly, he maybe nodded at him. Bob Dylan, right? So I'm like, he's kind of looked over and nodded, and I kind of looked over and nodded. So I think it was sort of one of those kind of things with Scatman Crothers too.
Wow. Well, you know what?
It is wow.
Yeah.
It is kind of wow, because I'm just, like I say, I'm very starstruck. So, but I play aloof. I kind of play like, I'm cool. I'm just as cool as you are, but I am, in the meantime, going, holy shit, that's Catman Crothers.
And this is one thing, too, and that's between you and Lisa, I like the fact that you're very down to earth.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I just, it's a job. It's work to me. It's a job. It's like, it's an unusual job.
Yeah, and
get to meet great people.
Yeah, and I look back, like I said, I wish the Canadian film industry would push further.
Yes. Well, that's why we all left, because it just didn't push enough. So that's why a lot of Canadians flocked south of the border, because they wanted to, try to, get more and become more well known and stuff. So there's always a cap in Canadian that we're always like, well, we don't want to make you too famous.
Well,
We don't want to celebrate our Canadian talent too much.
well, it's sad when I hear about Canadian talent going to the U.S.
Yeah.
and it's like they forget they're Canadian. Like one of the things I like about I can say this about Lisa is that
Mm-hmm.
she upholds herself as a Canadian, and I
Oh no, she
respect
totally
that.
does. Yeah. So do I. I mean, I'm very, love my Canadian citizenship, and that's why I'm not an American citizen. I have a green card.
Yeah, and
I don't have an American passport.
okay.
So that's okay with me,
Hmm.
especially with the state of things now. Um,
Yeah, the political
Politics and all that.
situation is just going nuts there.
It really is frightening, to say
Yes.
the least. Compared to all the wonderful things that are happening in Canada now with Trudeau and everything. So, yeah, it's really scary times. But no, Lisa's always going to she goes to the Canadian consulate, the events that happen at the Canadian consulate in LA. So she's always, when I was down there too, the people that I reunited with, they were all Canadians.
Wow.
Maurice Godin, Ellen Dubin. I mean, they were all Canadian actors, and there were Joe Kelly, Harris Goldberg, the writer. He's Canadian.
Okay.
They were all Canadians. Mike Gormley. All
Oh yeah, I know
all
Mike. Mike's our
Yeah.
manager. Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. And I mean, so I was literally socializing with my ex-Canadian buddies. I didn't really meet a lot of Americans down in LA.
Well, I
There's
feel
a huge Canadian population out there.
I feel sad when I hear about people and I don't want to badmouth Margot Kidder because I
Right.
loved her in Sisters and Black Christmas,
Yeah.
but I feel sad when they give up their Canadian citizenship.
Yeah. Did she do that? Is that what happened?
I don't quote me on it,
Right.
but I believe I read that somewhere. But I'll just leave it
I
at
think
that.
Jim Carrey did that too. I think
Jim
Jim Carrey
Carrey,
did that too.
yeah.
But I think what happened was that I think what they do is they become an American citizen, but you still have your Canadian passport.
Okay.
And I think they still I think it's I don't know if it's to do with taxes or what it is. I think it's just easier, maybe.
Okay.
But Jim, I'm a huge fan of Jim Carrey. I think he's like I was his groupie.
Okay.
Not in that way.
You didn't talk through your butthole?
No. He did get that from me. No, he didn't get that from me. But he's hilarious. No, I used to follow him around all the time to his different gigs when he was a young kid.
Okay.
I'd go to Yuck Yucks and I'd go to these different comedy clubs because I thought he was the most talented kid doing comedy I'd ever seen, and I knew he was going to make it huge. I just knew. It's obvious. You're just sitting there going, "This kid's going to be huge," and he is, and he was, and he became so incredibly successful. But you could see it right back then, and so I was just a huge fan of his.
Yeah.
And so I was so happy for him when he did, do the show Living Color, and then became into the movies, the Ace Ventura and stuff like that. He's a hoot.
Well, I
He
remember
really was
seeing
a
Dumb and
legend.
Dumber in a packed theater, and
Yeah.
Truman Show. He was great in that.
Oh, he's awesome. He's an amazing, and he's also an amazing, straight, dramatic actor as well.
Yes.
Talk about depression, and he's very open about this. And he suffers from depression.
Yes.
So, that's a lot of comedians do, surprisingly enough, because that's how they can be so funny, is they draw from their pain.
It's interesting. We mentioned the depression thing, and the pie in the face thing. You know what it reminded me of? Speaking of
What?
Canada, it reminded me of a show that I grew up and I used to love watching called "You Can't Do That on Television."
I remember that show. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what it
Yeah.
put me in mind of.
Right. Good
So
show. Yeah.
I remember that very, very, very well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well.
Cool.
Well, you know what? It was fantastic talking to you today.
Oh, Oh, thank you. It was great talking to you too. This is awesome.
Yeah, and one thing, and is there a way I can get an autographed picture of you?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Just send me your address.
I'll do that. I'll send it to you on
And I'll send it.
Facebook. Do you mind if I
Would
send
you like the head in the toilet pic?
Yeah,
I say, hey, it's a good thing you can put above your toilet in your bathroom.
you could Photoshop it and have Jeff Bridges there above.
That's right, exactly. Or maybe Jeff and I could, if I ever meet him, could do one together.
There you go.
That's something to look forward to.
There you go.
That's a goal. That's a goal, Jeff. I'm coming for you.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I noticed too. I've got a few of my interviewees on Facebook. Would it bother you if I sent you a friend's request?
No, absolutely. Please go ahead.
Okay. I agree with
I'm
your.
crazy on there, and everybody will agree. Leslie's crazy on Facebook. She's insane.
Yeah.
That's
I've
why I
got
do my comedy routine.
There you go. Well, I agree with your political views. I saw them on there when I looked you up.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm incredulous with this whole Trump thing. I just think I hope this is a joke. I really do. Then he's like Kaufman. He's a genius. But I have a feeling it's not. It gets scarier every day.
Yeah.
Every day with him, now he wants to punish women who have abortions. I mean, I don't want to get political on your show, but I'll tell you, it's just I can't. I'm beside myself.
He wants to punish women that have abortions.
Yeah, this is a new thing.
Isn't it a choice?
If the law is passed that it's illegal, they should be punished. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's that bad. It's that bad. He's that much of an egomaniac to he's going there.
Well, I have to say I agree with your stance on this.
Oh yeah, it's frightening. I mean, like I say, if this is all a big, he's just putting a mirror up to show the Republican Party how ridiculous they've become, and he's playing a part because he's an entertainer.
Yeah.
Then I say, wow, that was really good. You did it. Because they're all freaking out.
Yes.
The actual Republican people.
Well, a lot of the American people are saying if he wins, they're coming here. Like Miley Cyrus is saying that. Well, you and Lisa can come here.
No, I know New Brunswick. I think opened its doors and said, "Yeah, we got a lot of land. Come on up."
There you go.
That's why New Brunswick. I know where New Brunswick. I mean, it's been in the news because there's this big thing saying we have tons of land available for the Americans to come and stay up here.
Yeah. Oh,
there'll be a mass exodus. I can tell you that.
Yeah,
it'll be like the draft dodgers all over again.
There you go. well, I look forward to seeing whatever project you're doing with Lisa in terms of that screenplay. I think that would be great.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually writing it with my writing partner Maria Nieto, but it's based on a weekend trip that I took with her and her son and his friend for his birthday.
Okay.
And just incredibly hilarious things happened. So I tell people this weekend, and they're like, "Oh, that's a movie," and I'm like, "Yeah, it is actually." So we started writing it, but I'm excited about that. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and again, if you get a chance, do the pie in the face challenge with her if you can.
I would love to. I think it would be a hoot if we did it together.
Well, I'll tell you, I was so thankful because, like I said, they've been trying, and this is something that's affected me, and I was so happy when she said she'd do it. I know she asked when and where, but I have no answer for that. It's just a matter of.
I guess whenever you can, and then you send it in. You film yourself doing it, I assume.
Well, what you do is you film yourself. You're taking a pie in the face. You nominate 3 people. And put it up on. I made a suggestion to her to do it with Our World Today because she could benefit her YouTube channel there.
Right. Yeah, with her, that would be a good idea. Sure.
Yeah, I sent it to them, and I know they've seen it because there's a check mark by the message, but they didn't say anything. Right. But she did respond, and I was so happy because I paid the people to help me do that video, so it came out of my pocket. And they donated it to the cause themselves, and the guy operating the camera also did a video. But it would have been, and it's not a waste to help a charity, But
Right. No.
but here's the thing. I know somebody that when the Ice Bucket Challenge took place, went
Yes.
on YouTube to see Chloe Grace Moretz do the
Yeah.
Ice Bucket Challenge. So
Yeah.
people, they're not
They're
going to
watching.
look at regular people. They want to see people in the
Oh
industry.
yeah. Yeah. No, they do. And this challenge that I have to do, these 22 push-ups. They're from an up-and-coming film group called Fuzz on the Lens, which
Yeah.
they're young guys, these hot young filmmakers that just did a movie called Abnormal Attraction, which I have a part in, and got really big names like Bruce Davison, Malcolm McDowell, and Leslie Easterbrook to be in it,
Oh, Malcolm
and
McDowell.
it's coming out this fall, so or will be ready to be released, I guess, this fall, and they're the ones that started the 22 push-ups for the veterans, the 22 veterans that kill themselves every day. So there's all these challenges are out there, and it's great. It's great when people who have a bit of a profile can get up and do it.
Well, if you watch my video and hear the statistics about suicide,
Yeah.
it will floor you.
Oh no, I'm sure it floors me even without knowing what the statistics are. It really does. I mean, I think there was a young Canadian native. Who was it? Was it in Canada or was it here? Who killed herself? Little girl.
I don't know.
I know. It's just terrible.
Yeah. So I was happy when Lisa accepted. Like I almost did backflips because
Right.
I sent it out, and I know one person responded with a little thumbs up sign, which
Right.
I think she's seen it, and I think she approved of it. Whether she's going to do it, I don't know. But Lisa did verbally say she shared it, and then like if you go on her Facebook page, it'll show it that she shared it, and
Right.
she responded she'll do it, and I was like, finally somebody that gets it.
She does get it.
Yeah.
I think she's been affected by that, so she gets it.
And I think it would be
Yes.
funny. I told her she should wear a pink wig and let Patsy get her just desserts.
Yes, right. Yes.
I think it would be
She's
funny.
good.
Huh?
She's game for anything. She's a good sport. She's game for anything.
I think it'd be funny to see her take a pie in the face.
Yeah.
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 So you two do that. That would be great. Actually, it's funny. We didn't mention Tales of Poe. What was
Right.
What was it like doing that film?
Oh, it was awesome. Bart Mastronardi and Alan Rokelly. Bart wrote his own version of The Telltale Heart,
Okay.
which is pretty much the story all women. So the narrator is now a woman. The old man is now an old aging actress. And I play a character in an asylum that she gets sent to, the narrator, played by Debbie Rochon, gets sent to this asylum, and it opens in the asylum, and she basically tells my character of the story of why she's in there. And it becomes the narration of The Telltale Heart. So it's really cleverly done. And Bart shot it, and Bart directed it, and then Alan did The Castle of Amontillado, and he wrote it and was in that. Alan was also in The Telltale Heart, playing the aging Hollywood actress with the eye, that disturbs the narrator. And then it ends with Dreams, which is, I think, a poem by Poe, starring Bette Cassat, and Adrian King's in it, and a bunch of Caroline Williams, and a bunch of other people from the genre are in that particular part. There's more of a narrative rather than an actual. There's no dialogue. It's more like a narrative, a poem, and it's visually beautiful to look at. And so that's coming out soon. That's going to be released this year.
I loved interviewing Adrian King.
Yeah,
I had her on here. She was my second interview right after Tommy Wiseau. And,
Amy Steele's in it. Sorry, I just had to get that name out.
Amy Steele. Yeah, I was just going to bring that up. I've been trying to get her on here,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure she would do it. Yeah, I'm sure she would do it.
Oh, I've been trying. Like I sent her a Facebook message. I know Adrian King said that Amy Steele's quite busy, but I'm going to keep at her.
Totally.
I love Amy.
Yeah, no, she's great. And Caroline Williams is great, too. She's a wonderful lady. So, yeah.
Yeah. Amy Steele's one of the few people that was able to kick Jason Voorhees and the Family Jewels and get away with it.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
She's amazing. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Well, you know what? I think I've had you on here for over an hour, and I apologize for that,
that's
but
okay. It's been a pleasure. It's been fun.
it's been a lot of fun. Like I said, I look forward to seeing, if you decide to do that challenge, I look forward to seeing you and Lisa's Pie in the
Absolutely.
Face videos. I'm thrilled. I thank you both.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And when you're
Awesome.
talking to Lisa, you tell her I said thank you, and I really
I
mean
will.
that.
I totally will. I definitely will.
Yeah, I'm a fan
You
for
got it.
life.
Yeah, I am too.
Well, you know what?
So,
Let me see. Going over your thing. Happy birthday to me and Deadly Eyes, Curtains. Send a little shout out. Funeral Home, Running, and Tales of Poe for all of those Netflix people out there.
yes. Oh, yes. I'm shouting out. Watch them. They're great. They're fun. They're old school, but old school is, in a lot of ways,
More fun.
the good school. Yeah, the more fun school. So, it's nice to go back and see how it all started.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
you don't have deadly eyes, so there you go.
Thanks. Yeah, I hopefully I don't.
No. Well, you know what? It's been fun talking to you today. What an honor, and
Thank
to
you.
remind people of our great Canadian talent.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes,
It's
and
nice talking to you too.
and I'll tell you what. If you want to look at that video, feel free.
I
And if
will.
you want to, I can send you some of my interviews of some of the people I've
Sure.
interviewed if you want to hear them.
Yeah, I'd love to. That would be great.
Sure,
I'd
I
love to
could
hear
do
Lisa's.
that. Huh?
I'd love to hear Lisa's.
Yeah, well, I recommend if you're at the computer and you happen to be
Mhm.
doing something, you could like play it in the background while you're.
Right.
Yeah,
Cool.
Lisa's is 2 hours. Hers was my longest.
Wow.
Yeah, and
That's fantastic.
yeah, and it was never dull for me. Like she was great.
No, she's not. She can't. She's not. This. It's impossible for her to be dull.
She sang me happy birthday too.
She did.
Oh
Wow.
yeah.
That's
Actually,
fantastic.
my birthday was in July 8th. I interviewed her on the 29th of June, and she would have
Oh,
come back on there, but with me, I figured since I had her on there, I'd get her right then.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, that's good that you did. Yeah.
because that is
Yeah.
probably one of my single greatest moments there on the radio.
Fantastic. Yeah.
I told her,
I bet it was.
I said, Patsy's been redeemed.
She has. She totally has.
She has.
Yeah.
Well, you know what,
Awesome.
Lesleh? God bless you. Thank you so
Oh,
much for coming on here.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me. I had fun. It was great.
And when I
Thank
get
you.
this done, I will send. It probably won't be podcasted for a few weeks because
Okay.
I've had some interviews this week and they've got to air on the radio. My show's on Sunday nights, and
Okay.
then after that I podcast them out. So it might be towards the end of April when this gets
Okay.
podcasted. But when it is, I will send you the link, and you have my permission to put it on your Facebook
Oh, I
webpage.
totally will.
Absolutely, you got my
I
permission.
totally will. Thank you so much.
God,
Thank you.
God bless, and you tell Lisa I said hello and thank
I
you.
will. You're welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, yeah, bye.
Bye-bye.